Welcome to Everything But the Kitchen Dink, the podcast where we discuss all things pickleball with your hosts, Rob and Andy.
Welcome back to Everything But the Kitchen Dink.
Welcome back, everybody. Yay! I've missed you.
Get off. With your hosts, Rob and Andy. And I'm Rob.
And I'm Andy.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah,
it
thanks
feels
for tuning in.
Like ages since we've actually done it together because we've
I
had so many interviews on. So it's great to be back. And you've just got back from your holiday. So that's why we've had a bit of a delay getting one out.
Yeah, we did try and do it there, but
we did, but the connection wasn't great.
It was awful.
Well, you're in some remote part of Cyprus, weren't you?
And I was pissed. And full from eating too much.
Yeah, so you're back.
It's been hard. It's been really hard.
What has?
Being without you.
Oh, God.
But you
say the sweetest things.
We had a very upbeat episode, I seem to remember last time. It was just me and you.
No, we did an interview last time, but
when it was just me and you, it was a really upbeat episode.
We just played, haven't we? Was it where have we played? And we were really upbeat about it.
We were.
I can't remember. Anyway,
we played really well. It was after the we've been to. Was it the Shropshire Open? No, it was the Telford Open. It was really good. Then we talked about the plateau, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Yes. Which we'll talk a bit more about a bit later.
Yeah. So it might not be. I'm just.
It might be a bit disjointed.
Yeah. I'm just feeling very anxious with my pickleball. I'll go into it later.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that.
It's when we normally start with our episode and say what have you been up to. I feel like it's been such a long time. And some of the things we're going to talk about, I feel like they happened so long ago. But anyway, just to get started, really, the last episode was Leonardo.
Yes. Venezuelan guy.
Yes. Yeah.
Although originally born in the UK.
That Venezuelan guy.
It was great to talk to him. It was an amazing story, what he's done for pickleball. If you haven't listened to that episode, just step back one and go and listen to that because it's a really, really in-depth talk about how he's developed pickleball in Venezuela.
It's a great inspiration to anybody
absolutely
who just finds pickleball and wants to do something with it. And he's ended up heading up the whole of the Americas.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So if you haven't listened to that, give it a listen. It's great.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to talk about our Shropshire Open experience, but before we get into that,
hold on, I'm sweating here.
It's warm, isn't it? Before you actually came, I was just watching Andre Agassi.
Well, it's interesting.
And Annalie Waters.
Because I tried to look it up.
Well, it's on YouTube and
I couldn't find it.
We're going to talk about age and stuff like that in a minute, but I've just watched it. It was fantastic, first of all. Excuse me. Andre Agassi is 55 years old.
Is he 55?
Yeah, I had to I Googled that afterwards because I wasn't sure. But they played today. Obviously,
it's currently the US Open, isn't
correct.
it?
If you're listening, this will be a few days old, but he's a really good player. I know he's a fantastic tennis player, but he played really well. Now, it's just interesting because they played against Yang and someone else. I can't remember. Two youngsters.
Ying.
Yeah. Two youngsters. And basically, they left Anna out the game as much as they could. Which was the right thing to do.
Right.
And
were you watching live today?
No, it was pre-recorded. I watched it. And it was just fascinating. Andre held his own. He did really, really well. He's got fast hands and he was getting some rallies back and his dinking was great. But he just didn't have the edge when it came to the fast hands. You could see the youth just having the quicker reflexes and
yes,
that sort of thing. So they got knocked out.
Did they?
Yeah, they got
because
beat.
I saw it was yesterday, and I saw it was.
Yeah, they won the game.
His first match.
And I think they won yesterday. Just about. It was quite close, but today they got well beaten.
Was it best of 3 games?
It's best of 3 games.
Okay, so what I saw yesterday, I just went onto YouTube and I looked for it, and what I came across was just the end of the match and then an interview with them. It showed a couple of clips, but I didn't see the game. And immediately, you probably saw the same, that it was just everything. Yeah. Yes, there was dinks in there, but everything was aggression.
Fast. Everything was aggression.
Yeah.
And they threw everything at him. And today they won the first game, actually. Anna and Andre. They won the first game,
Right.
but then they lost the second two. And I think the other two just figured it out. They had to leave Anna out of the game. I mean, she's got some amazing shots.
I'm surprised they played together.
Well, I think it's more publicity.
But the US Open, they do a split age division, if you don't know this.
Well, they weren't in that, were they? Because they played two youngsters. So I don't think they were in the
split
age.
But that's what I assumed when I heard they were playing together. I assumed they were playing in the split age. So there's an older person and a younger person. I think that's a really great idea.
It is a good idea, yeah.
So I can't help thinking it's probably some kind of gimmick.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean,
because she wouldn't normally play with him.
No, she's playing as well.
He's a great player. Obviously, he's a tennis legend, but he's relatively new to pickleball.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good player, but you could see the difference when he came up against two youngsters, which is what we're going to move on to. That's why I thought I'd bring it up, because we went and played in the Shropshire Open in an open age format.
Yeah, we keep challenging ourselves.
Yeah, which was great. But when it came down to it, we won our games. That when we played people at our own level, our own age more than our own level. Well, I guess it was our own.
Well, level. The people. What we found in the past is, if I go back to last year's Open, we played against the people who we should be beating. We performed poorly, and I feel like we've now got to the point where when we're playing people around our age and ability, we're tending to win the matches more. Where we're struggling now is when we put ourselves in for these open age brackets.
And I think that's to be expected because as I saw with Andre and Anna, youngsters can move a lot quicker. I mean, he's not bad for 55.
No, but he's got the power because obviously he's the tennis legend.
It's his movement more than anything because, you play a ball wide and then you've got to get, what it's like for us to get back to the middle. So
your reactions are not...
Your reactions aren't
55.
Quick.
Your reactions are not the same, and that's why legendary boxers who reach to the mid-30s, they think they can do it in the minds, but their hands are not as fast, and it's exactly the same here.
Yeah, exactly. And we found that in the Shropshire Ocean. We weren't in the ocean.
Are you pissed now?
I wish I was. And we found that we played against a 21-year-old who was a great player, number one, but his hand speed and everything
also
else.
The serve as well, and we're doing so well at practicing and drilling our returns, but even when you get hit a great return, it just comes back like a ball of fire.
But for me, it's great because it is good. I mean, it's not great when you're getting hammered off the court, but it's great to play against these kids and just test yourself against them and build your sort of stamina and your reflexes up.
It was interesting because you turned to me at the end of that match.
Yeah.
And you said, had we have won, we would have gone through to the semi-final.
Yeah.
However, these two youngsters, they wiped the floor with everybody.
Yeah.
I think we won 6 or 7 points off them, which was more than anyone else. And you turned to me and you said, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember that because... when you get...
I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, you go on there and you're doing okay, and then
but you
get blasted off, and you just think, why am I doing this?
Because you're never going to compete against a 21-year-old.
Correct. So I think, why am I doing it? But then I thought afterwards, well, maybe it's good to do it because am I learning something? But then I'm thinking, I don't think I am learning anything.
You were wrong to say that because it's great. It's great for us to play in these tournaments. Now, why are we doing it? It's simple.
Experience.
Because, in the UK, there's a shortage of tournaments. So if we want to play in tournaments...
Well, there's a lot more now.
There are a lot more, and it's very pleasing to see that there are a lot more about. However, if you want to be in more tournaments, you still have less choice than... let's face it, if every week there was a 50-plus tournament, we wouldn't play in an open age, would we?
No, exactly.
But it would also be very easy for us to say, well... it's open age, let's not do it.
It's also very different lobbing a 50-odd-year-old than lobbing a 21-year-old.
Yes, you're right.
You're
right.
Because it's a different thing.
Well, even if it's a successful lob, they are getting it back and they are getting it back well.
Correct. Where if you're lobbing someone between the ages of 50 and 60, they're getting it back, possibly getting it back.
But if it goes over the head and they turn around...
Yeah, it's just reactions, isn't it? And speed, it's speed. And I wish you know, I always say this, but I wish I was 30 years younger and just finding pickleball now. Although I'll probably be playing paddle.
Well, why don't you go and find a sport that's only 20 years old
then? Yeah, because it was so good, you know, being able to move freely and not be injured every week. And, you know, I played the other week and I did my ankle in. It's just one thing after another.
Well,
I'm all right now, but
obviously you said, when you said to me, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I figure you've changed your mind since then.
Yeah, I'm just not doing it with you.
You're a funny guy.
Thank you.
I'll make the jokes right.
No, I mean, yeah, I will do it again because
suddenly got very hot in here.
Because I really enjoy playing pickleball. So you know, if it's on and it's, I mean, the thing is with this one, it's local. So if it's local to us, then I think, you know, it's worth doing. But also, when I say local, an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's
local.
Our doorstep.
Yeah.
But the pattern is now that we won our games against our peers.
Yeah.
So
which is great.
You know,
there's
a couple of weeks after you start, maybe 24 hours after you start to sort of take stock of what happened.
Don't get me wrong, some of the games were tough. I mean, they were tough. They were good players. It was, you know, it was really, it was good to see. And, you know, I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it more now. Definitely enjoying it more.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about, after a couple of episodes ago, we talked about the plateau.
Yeah.
I didn't realize at the time that my plateau was going to come around. My next plateau was going to come around just a few weeks later.
Yeah, it's after that tournament, really. I mean, we played that, but then you've played socially a few times, and you're struggling, aren't you?
I think it was such a high. The Telford Open, we played so well. We really beat people who we'd struggled against in the past, and it was just a phenomenal feeling. And I was buzzing for a while after that.
Yeah.
But then, even after that, for a couple of weeks, we played rec play and it was great. And then we got to this tournament, and I don't know what happened. We went back to the same surface, and I just felt that my game was wrong. I was trying to win on every shot again because we'd had so much success playing that more aggressive game. I think in that Telford Open.
The problem is, you know, you need to tailor the game to who you're playing. And unfortunately, you know, when we played there, yes, it was a very, very aggressive, bangy sort of game, and it worked well. But it's not always going to work well.
No, but that got in my head.
Yeah, and when it doesn't work well, you have to then change it to a different approach.
I thought that if I start playing to the opponent and mixing it up and doing a bit of dinking, it's how many times have we been there in the past and we've tried to do that and they just smashed us off the place. And so I got so confused. I didn't want to start dinking because I figured if I started trying to slow it down, we'd just get smashed off.
Right.
So I got confused. I went too aggressive. I was going for too many shots that I shouldn't have been doing. And the people we were playing were really good at dinking. So I just got confused. And then as well as we played in the games we won, I just wasn't happy with my performance. And maybe I'm too hard on myself, but I just felt in the games we lost, although they beat everybody else, I just felt I could have done better. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. You know, maybe that's a good thing that I'm not just happy with my performance.
I think that it is a good thing that you're not happy. And, you know, I think we have to learn how to change in the middle of a game more.
Yeah. And I guess
instead of doing
instead
of just doing the same thing over and over, we have to think about, okay, this isn't working. What can we do to make it work?
I felt after the Telford Open, I felt
it worked well,
almost invincible.
Yeah, maybe that was the problem.
And then I come down to I think
overconfidence.
So. You know, it just didn't feel.
I think this
right
is all part and parcel of experience and tournament play. You know, and if we go back to the mental game and how important the mental game is, because if you are going into a game or a tournament and you're feeling like I'm invincible, that's the worst thing you can probably do.
I know, and it comes back to that phrase, stop chasing winners. And I actually saw that in a video afterwards and I thought, that hit the nail on the head for me.
Yeah.
And
every
then,
shot we're trying to win the point, you know, and it's.
But then it comes down to frustration. Then we had a couple of weeks where it was just rec play. And again, I'm really, you know, I think you were away. You went away for a few days, didn't you? And then you said to me, how was Tuesday night rec playing? And
you were giving up at that point.
Well, my answer was, I loved it because I love the club. I love the people.
But you hated the play.
But I can't go from the highs of the Telford Open and come down to just practicing a few shots, because I'm really struggling.
I'll tell you what I hate. I hate playing indoors. When I say indoors, I hate playing on badminton courts with indoor balls now. I just love playing on these courts, the tennis courts and the Telford, the proper courts with the X40s. I just love that.
And I think that's part of how I've been feeling as well. And it was a case of almost to the point where if I want to go and just enjoy myself, I am doing that. I love playing with these people. It's great fun. There's great banter. But I just feel like it's serving no purpose for me in the progression of my game. And I'm finding that incredibly frustrating at the moment.
Mm.
And in some ways, I guess over the past few weeks, I've then been away. So I've been away for a week, which basically it was Easter holiday. So I've had 2 weeks off, which I was so happy to have. I was really looking forward to.
Sometimes it does you good just to have a break.
But it's been festering. It's still festering. And I've got that anxiety of just that cycle of having a tournament, going on the up again, coming back, having a month or so, or 2 months or 3 months without another tournament back there. And I don't know. I mean, do you get my frustration? I just feel like I'm not getting enough play of the right kind of play.
I feel like it's just very difficult until we get purpose-built facilities. You know, we struggle, especially in the north, for standards of play, which is also a problem. So we've got what we've got, and that's what we've got. Unless we're prepared to keep traveling, which we've talked about so much.
I mean, is it a case of currently the situation isn't going to change, so I'm going to have to change?
Yeah, you're going to have to grasp what you've got and work on it and work on your game. You know, we've got some very good players at the club now as well.
Yeah, we do.
We are lucky to have really good players. So, you know, and not every game's a given anymore. You know, you're playing against really tough players.
Listen, it was the last time I was there. It was a mixed bag, and I played well in some games, and I won some games, lost some games. I wasn't bothered about that. It's just maybe I'm looking too much big picture. You know, we're coming to the time of year. We're in May now, and this is our critical time of year.
Well, it's a case of what do you want to achieve as well. Like, where do you want to go? What's your?
I want to get progressively better, and these players who we say we're never going to compete with, we might not, but I want to put a better. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's coming into that time of year, and I'm starting to worry a little bit. But then I suppose I should rationalise and think back to the time when we had our high a couple of months ago. And
the thing is, we've got a few tournaments before the Open.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about those as we do them. But I think you've got to change your mindset a bit and be more positive and just look at the positive points rather than the negative points. You know, we've got tournaments coming up. We've got a decent club to play at, you know, a decent standard. And, you know, it is what it is. Regarding drilling, I mean, that for me is an important part of it. And I don't think, and we've tried to drill once a week.
But which is more important, drilling or playing against people much better than yourself?
Both.
But we don't have the luxury of both.
No. So drilling is the key then, isn't it? Now, it's very difficult because it's a difficult stage, especially in your progress, because you work full time. It's very, very difficult to fit everything in. You know, you've got a family, you've got kids, you've got a dog.
Forget the family.
You know, you can't be out every night. And that is really when you have time
Yeah.
to play pickleball. So if you're playing pickleball twice a week, realistically, you're not going to be out another 2 nights drilling. So this is where you have to either have a balance of sacrifice. Do I play twice a week, or do I play once a week and drill once a week?
Yeah. I mean, but I don't get that choice because I can only play with what's available. If there's a drilling session available, I'm drilling.
Yeah.
And if it's rec play,
it's difficult. It's difficult. You know, the likes of people that are retired or have lucky enough to be in a sports situation where they're in a club every day and they can play, you know, that's great. But you'll find that a lot of people out there are in the same situation as you.
I think I'm just being my, you know, I've not had pickleball for a couple of weeks, and that gives you
I think
time.
you need to get back on court, and I think you need to.
I've had a physical rest, but maybe I've not really had a mental rest. Maybe I don't want a mental rest. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that the last few weeks we've not sort of connected, and you've been away, or you've not been there, and you know, maybe I'm missing that. And you know, we've got what are we, May?
Well, we're going into Rotter in June.
Yeah,
we've got a big tournament there.
Are we going to get something in before then?
I'd like to. We need to check what's available.
Yeah. And then we've got the Open coming up, which I'm really excited about. But I just feel like I'm not getting the right preparation at the moment.
Okay.
But yes, I think maybe the answer is that if we had the opportunity to play 50 plus all the time, that would probably help us. I don't know. It
is what it is. I think we're still in exciting times for pickleball, you know, and as soon as these facilities start coming, it'll be a lot easier for us, because then we'll be. The thing is, when you play consistently on the same surface,
yeah,
you know, it bodes for a much better tournament for you.
I'm just so like, I wish.
And I know everyone's in the same boat, changing from indoor balls and indoor courts with multi-lines to them playing.
But it's so unique to this country.
It is, because in America, you only play on these courts with outdoor balls.
But even if you're in other countries that have the climate, you know, Venezuela,
yeah,
they're all playing outside, aren't they? So it's all the same.
It's all the same surface. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, you know, if that was the case, I'd go at 6 in the morning, and then go to work.
If you had the weather, but you haven't, so you're knackered, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe this is all born out of frustration, but I can't be the only one feeling this.
No, I'm sure there's plenty of people around the country, and more people that suffer worse than we do. Where in the remote parts of the UK, and they can't have any you know,
playing in a village hall where they
correct,
can't do ATPs.
You know, it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
And hopefully in the next 10 years, when I can't move, it'll be sorted.
Yeah.
I think things will come sooner than we think, you know.
It's just very up and down, and maybe it's always going to be that way. Anyway,
moving on from your negativity onto more positive things.
Confusion more than negativity. That's.
I think you just need to get back on the court.
Yeah.
And then find your love again. We all go through these peaks and troughs of, you know, loving it and then hating it. I've been there so many times. Now I'm past that, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And I've found my enjoyment again. You know, I'm frustrated because I want to improve. I went today, and I just went and I did some drilling for an hour. Because I took the ball machine and I went and I did an hour's drilling. And it's hard when you go and you know, especially picking the balls.
Well, you spend more time picking the balls,
you do,
don't you?
You do. But you know, I want to do it more. I want to drill more. And if you haven't got a partner, then the ball machine's great, because you can just go. But I don't do it enough myself, and I do have the time, really. So I need to sort of you know, do that more. So
I mean, I guess the rest of the players here are just lucky that we don't get that much time to play.
Can you imagine how awesome it would be?
Oh my God, I'm visualizing it now.
Anyway, I've got a competition coming up.
Well, wait, before you mention that,
oh, go on.
You've had a few things, haven't you?
Well,
what did you?
I played.
You played in the league again, didn't you?
Oh God, that seems like
ages ago. It was only 2 weeks ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I played in the league again, which was great. It was a really nice standard to play in. And it was really close, actually. It was like the person that won it got 7 games. Yeah, I got 6 games. And I think there were 2 others on 6 games. Very, very close. Good standard. Really enjoyable. So, that's another thing that we can do. Whether we win or lose, it's just great to play against other people that you don't normally play against from other clubs. Good standard. So it's really good to do. So I encourage anyone to do the league.
I mean, I would have done it. I am
not sure when the next one is, to be honest.
No, but let me know, because I couldn't do it. My brother was in from the States.
Yeah,
so we had to pretend like we're on a professional eating tour. That's what happens.
And then I played in at David Lloyd. They organised a team match.
Oh yeah, this was interesting.
They asked me to play, which I actually enjoyed it. Again, there's no pressure. It was just a team, and you played mixed and you played men's, and it just, something was highlighted for me, which I know that I already know this, but it just, because I've not been in that situation for a long time, it highlighted more. And a bit going back to Anna Lee and Andre Agassi, it was a similar thing, because the team that we played had quite strong women. And our women, they've not been playing that long, and they're improving all the time, but they weren't as strong. So immediately get left out of the game in the mixed.
Right. And
it makes a difference.
Were you able to
I was
coach?
trying, and I turned my ankle trying to poach because I was trying to cover a lot. But, the men's we won, that was great. But the mix was really tough.
Right.
So, and this happens, all the time in competitions, in tournaments. And you forget, because I've been lucky enough to have a strong female partner, you do forget, when 2 of you are as strong as each other, it's a lot harder for the other team, So, anyway, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was... I
mean, that's the problem with mixed all over the world.
Yeah.
How's your plantar fasciitis?
Actually, it's been all right. If it is that. It was actually my heel.
Oh, right, okay. Because I've got it on the ball of my foot, and I've been looking into it.
Yeah, I have. It's all about shoes.
Yeah, 100%.
All about shoes.
100%.
Got a new pair on the way.
I haven't. I'm so confused now. Surprisingly,
I actually started following this podiatrist on TikTok. How funny!
Top 10 shoes.
Yeah. So anyway, I've gone back to wearing my shoes
shoes?
They're ready to be thrown in the bin. But everything else that I try, I start getting foot pain.
The Asics always seem to come out.
They're my Asics Nimbus 21s.
Right.
They've stopped making them. They've moved on to Nimbus 27s now. But these have been great. As soon as I started wearing them, I had a problem with my Achilles and everything.
Well, I think also as we're starting to play on more of the hardcore.
Correct. Yeah.
That's making it worse.
So I've tried other shoes, and they just...
I need to invest in a proper pair of shoes.
So I've ordered the Asics, what they called 31s, but I can't remember the full name of them.
Right.
Because he said they were really good.
I wonder if it's very common throughout pickleball.
Absolutely. I think it's for any sport.
Yeah.
Badminton, tennis.
But I always feel the next day my feet are hurting, and now if I'm walking around barefoot,
you're feeling it.
Yeah. It hurts.
Well, I was, and now it seems a lot better since I've gone back to my other trainers. So it is a lot to do with your trainers. So I mean, we did a whole thing on that, didn't we, a while ago?
Yeah.
It seems like ages ago, but
it probably was actually.
Yeah. Also, insoles as well inside your trainers,
right.
Very important. I have insoles that I take out and transfer.
Are yours for odor?
I wouldn't like to smell them. They've never been washed.
Yes. Well, okay. So I've been away for a week. I went to Cyprus.
Yeah.
I did look up pickleball there.
Right, okay.
I couldn't seem to find anything that was like Cyprus pickleball or anything like that. I did find maybe 1 or 2 clubs that it's very hard.
I was in Tenerife. I just remembered when you went on that Tuesday.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's
so. You never played there?
Well, I found a place to play, but it was like 20 odd minutes away. We didn't have a car, and it was only there for 4 days. So it was like, I'd rather have a break.
I mean, I had a look. I was already set in my mind I wanted a break. Also, I thought my wife would kill me if I then went off and played pickleball. But there was nothing there.
And then I do recall you ringing me at one point saying,
I think 2 or 3 days in, she was begging me to go and find pickleball.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really like sitting in the sun. I mean, it gets too hot, but the water was so ice cold. I guess because of the time of year. So
that's why I'm looking forward to Rotter, because the hotel we're staying at has pickleball courts. So that'll be great, because we're actually there for 5 days.
Yeah.
So when we're not playing, we can play, hopefully.
The annoying thing is
we can drill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
After the event, that's the problem.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, so of course it was a 20-minute journey from the airport to the hotel. At which point you're passing paddle courts outside.
Yeah.
It's just so upsetting. Anyway, I met this couple, a military couple.
Right.
And so of course we get on the topic, and my wife's there. She's always waiting for me to mention pickleball.
Yeah.
So I did, and then eventually it came out, and then they said, like, actually no, I didn't mention it. And then my wife said one day, oh, they play paddle. They called it paddle tennis. Is there? I don't know whether there's a difference between the two, but I think they meant paddle.
Right.
So he was actually telling me that the army there is looking to bring in. Well, it's not the Cypriot army; it's the British army.
Right.
But they're stationed. They've got a station base there. So he was telling me that they're looking to get funding to have it as an army sport together with pickleball.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I've signed us up for a 3-year stretch in the army. So currently we've got a better chance of playing pickleball if we go to prison in America
or join the army.
Or join the army in Cyprus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's the state.
I'm not joining the army. Let me tell you. So what I was going on to say before was I have a competition this weekend.
Yes.
Which I always said, if they do it, not as a joint with another competition, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And it's the singles tournament at the Nationals. So normally they have the singles included before a tournament.
Yes, normally the day before the double starts.
And I always say, look, if I get injured in the singles, it's not fair on your partners.
Even if you don't get injured, it's
tiring. It's knackering. Yeah. So I said, as soon as they do it, I've got to enter it. And I was umming and ahhing. I've never done it before. And I thought...
It's also a long way.
It's a long way for 4 games.
Yes, because the Nationals where it would have been played is on our doorstep.
And my time starting now is 3:35 in the afternoon. So, which is actually fine, because I don't have to leave.
You can go in the morning. That's perfect.
Well, I can go after lunch.
But it means when you get to the medal matches, when you get to the gold medal,
good one.
You're going to get home very
late.
Good
one. I'll be home at 6.
I'm being positive.
Thank you. So I've decided to enter it, and I've not even had that much practice, to be honest.
Have you been looking at strategies?
I did look, but everyone's talking. It's like doubles, isn't it? Everyone's got different things to say.
You need to get some basic strategies.
Yeah, which I haven't. So whoever's playing me, I've got a very good chance of wiping the floor with me. But
you need to get to the net as soon as possible.
Well, I think the main strategy is serve deep, return deep, and hope for the best after that.
The gold is yours. It's yours to lose.
So I'm actually really excited about it. Number one, I don't have to worry about my partner, like on court. There's no stress of worrying about that situation.
There's no pressure whatsoever.
There's no pressure. It's just me doing my thing on a court, and so I'm actually excited. And whatever happens.
As long as you don't do yourself an injury.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But hopefully I won't. And it's going to be good. They've got 32 courts there. They're running a festival alongside it for the 2 days. So maybe I'll get a chance to have a knock.
Well, are you going and coming back on the same day?
Yeah, I'm only going for the day. So
right.
I'm not staying over. So I'm coming back. So I'm going to play the second day.
So saying after your 4 games, at least you've got a chance of...
Well, if I went in the morning, maybe if the festival's running, I could play. But then I don't want to...
Is it
2 hours?
2 hours.
It's only 2 hours, yeah.
Right.
It's Nottingham.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, it's near Nottingham. Loughborough. Is that Nottingham?
It's about 6
anyway,
hours,
it's the Nationals singles. So I hope to see everybody there.
Sure. You won't see me there.
I won't see you there, but I'm sure we'll see. I'll see some people there. And you know what? As I said, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, there's no pressure.
And I'll give you all the updates afterwards.
Yeah.
On how it went and what I need to improve, and if
I've
ever
seen
doing
you
it again.
And you know, I think you've got.
Well, I don't know. I only know one person. I don't know the rest. But we'll see. So excited about that.
Have you duped all the others?
No, I'm not.
Do you know? I guess there's a lot of people going because it's a separate tournament who have never played singles before.
Maybe.
So you're saying you've not done much training from a singles point of view?
Well, today I had a game. One of the guys at my David Lloyd class is a tennis player, and we didn't have enough people, so he said, "I'll play singles with you if you want." So I said, "Great, I need the practice." So I had him a game of singles.
And fitness-wise,
I was knackered, like literally knackered after one game. But I'll be all right. I'll get a break, and so listen, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Watch this space.
So I just want to mention when we went to the Telford Pickleball Centre, which I believe is the only purpose-built pickleball centre in the UK. Well, it's not purpose-built. It's the only centre that is just pickleball only.
Because there are a few paddle and pickleball centres.
Yeah.
There's one called, can't remember the name, which looks amazing, and that's got paddle and pickleball courts in it. It's down south somewhere.
So, you know, we love going down there. We love speaking to Mike, who's the owner, runs it, and it was interesting because we had a chat with him about Mike does these sessions for people. You know, if you want to book on, go on Telford Pickleball website. Seminars. Yeah. Regarding if you want to open a session, if you want to open your own centre, he has a session that you can go to and all the help and advice. So have a look out for that. However, he's been doing this for a while, hasn't he? And we asked the question why.
Yeah, I sort of said,
why has nothing come to fruition?
And he said to me, there are things going on, and people are looking at places. And I guess, you know, it takes time. You know, finding the right location is probably the hardest thing out of everything in making a centre, because it's just got to be perfect, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike's done a great job. He's got 6 courts there.
Started with 3. Yeah,
they're in 2 separate units, but you know, he's got a great facility, and hopefully more will spring up.
But it's happening. Well, if anything's happening, it's happening very slowly. And I understand that you've had the experience. We've discussed this in the past, where people might be afraid to take the leap, or why are people? Do they feel that people won't pay the money? I mean, if what are we paying? £6 a night.
Well, this is it, isn't it?
But if we played 4 times a week and it was £6 a night, then you're supposed to do the maths here.
24.
Okay, so you're looking at £100 a month, aren't you?
Yeah.
£1,000 a year, £1,200 a year.
Which is, you know,
no, I'd pay that. So what I'm saying is, I think people are nervous.
But paddle is so much more expensive than that.
Yeah.
But people are nervous, you know, because it's a big outlay. You know, you've got to have a few quid to do what, or an investor to do one of these facilities.
But I'm a firm believer, and it's very easy for me to say because I'm not doing it. If you build it, they will come, and I've no doubt about that.
I agree, but obviously you need somebody that's invested in pickleball, that's got a few quid, that wants to build a centre. You know, it's a big commitment. You know, I'm sure Mike's there, like, not 24/7, but a lot of the time.
I'd love to be there 24/7.
Yeah, but he won't be playing. He'll be trying to organise and run, run things.
Yeah, but what a great excuse for your play to go on.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I think we'll get there. It's just going to take time.
I know. But I still think it's, you know, I was sort of, when I was away this week, I'm still a bit, not embarrassed, but you just know people are going to say, "Oh, what's pickleball?"
Well, maybe the way to go is these people that are building paddle courts is to put pickleball courts in, or if they've got room for people to go to these paddle places, like Leon said from Venezuela. That's how he did it. Yeah. He went round to the paddle places and said, "Look, you know, you need to put a pickleball court."
But I guess, you know,
maybe that's the answer.
Maybe we should find out what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and hopefully
maybe
we will.
It's time to get Karen back on.
What did Novak Djokovic say? What did Novak Djokovic? That's a tongue twister, isn't it? What did Novak Djokovic say? Well, he said what I just said. Yes, they should have a club.
Well, it's great when a professional tennis player says that there is a future for pickleball. That's what he's saying.
But he's saying that we should integrate everything together: tennis, pickleball, and paddle, all in one
place. But don't
place.
you feel that everybody sees it as a competition, and it's not a competition? You know, how many sports centres do you go to, and they've got squash and table tennis and football?
It's very frustrating because I've got friends that have never played racket sports before, but now they're playing paddle because it's accessible.
Yeah.
You can book a court, you can go with 3 of your mates, and you can play.
Yeah.
And that is the big difference.
I mean,
we can't do that.
No, but the beauty is that pickleball, from a mental health point of view, you don't need mates. You know, before pickleball, when you had no friends, you just had me. You could go along to pickleball. You didn't have to know anyone.
Yeah, but you've got to go to a session or a club. Whereas this is,
you could just,
you can go and have a
and I suppose they have open players.
Yeah, of course they do. They have everything, tournaments.
But you know, I was on the way. I flew from Birmingham, so I had a couple of hour drive before I went, and I put the radio on. Sometimes I don't want to listen to music, and I put talk radio on, and it was interesting because if you don't know, I eat vegan. I don't say to people I'm a vegan.
You eat vegan, or you are a vegan.
Well,
or do you eat vegan people?
I'd eat anything. Sprinkle some chocolate on. Anyway, but it was interesting because there was this hour that I went down. They were talking about veganism, and the host was saying that basically vegans get mocked, don't they? How many times have I been out and people take the piss out? Yeah. But then,
is that because you're the fattest vegan I know?
Possibly. I think I'm the fattest one anyone knows, which, believe me, you know, I think
you're not fat, mate.
Part of the issue is I've gone away on an all-inclusive, and I've just eaten and drank myself to oblivion, and I come home and I feel like, why do I do this to myself? And you know, I have so many issues.
Well, that's not going to help you on court, is it?
No, but let me tell you, anybody who sees me at the Open, you're not going to recognise me.
Okay,
this is it now. This is ground zero.
Majora.
I'm not doing it. I am going to.
Okay, good for you.
I am actually going to do it. Do more exercise.
Good.
Anyway, so just going back, it made me chuckle a bit because people, when they were saying about people making fun of vegans, you know, really, and I've never been one to tell people what to do, but I guess on some level, I used to do that. But then part of me thought, well, you know what? People say to me, oh, I could never do that. But some people probably think, well, maybe I would want to. And I sort of chuckled to myself because I feel like that's where pickleball's at.
Yeah.
People take, you know, it's like, why are, if somebody wants to be vegan, so what? Why do people take the piss out of me for being a vegan?
I don't think it's because you're a vegan.
That's highly possible. But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I feel like pickleball is the same.
Yeah, people are taking the mick because you play pickleball.
Yeah, and believe me, more people take the piss out of me for pickleball than they do for veganism.
You got to ride with the punches, mate, and just get on with it. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I think that
people are missing out.
Undercurrent is hurting pickleball in this country, and you know, Leon comes on and the amazing work he's done.
We'll speak to Karen. We're going to see Karen, and we'll have a chat with her because, you know, how do we, you know, make pickleball playable in this country? How do we get people to play pickleball when we haven't got facilities and we can't get courts because everything else is played on these courts? The answer is it needs facilities. Are they going to come? Let's wait and see. But that is the only way we're going to get more people into pickleball. Okay. Moving on. So we got a couple of Yola paddles recently, which we've been playing with.
Yeah.
The Agassi and the Pro 4s, which are really nice paddles.
And as I said, I felt invincible with it.
Yeah.
In fact, well, I mean, Agassi was using your paddle, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Well, it's his paddle.
Yeah.
He was using it. It's a good paddle, but I'm actually using the Gearbox Pro Power.
You've changed.
I'm using the Gearbox Pro Power. Okay. And I'm loving it. So
that's the new one you got.
That's what I'm going to.
The one that's being banned.
No, it's the new one.
Right.
It's the replacement of the one that's being banned. It's not as powerful, but I really like it. So Yola is suing the US.
This is part of. I'm drinking water. This is all part of my new regime.
Good.
Go on.
Yola is suing the USA Pickleball over the paddle certification issues.
Yeah,
claiming unfair standards and loss of business.
I mean, we've talked about the whole wars with the.
But a lot of these paddle companies are having problems and having to take the paddles off the market. Gearbox, as you just mentioned, being one of them. And, there's Rhombus, they've got some paddles there. So,
I mean, the reason why I put this on the notes is because it's sort of gone quiet. The new paddles have come out. They're amazing. But now it's sort of resurfaced again. Yola was suing USA Pickleball, but now the counter suing, and it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? And then it makes me
doesn't help.
It doesn't help. What's going to happen now is my favourite new paddle. Is that going to get banned again?
Well, this is the problem. You're spending people are spending £275 on these paddles, not knowing really what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're not as powerful as the Mod TAs. They've got that propulsion core, but they're not as powerful, so they've toned it down a bit. But if the fallout becomes massive between Yola and the USA Pickleball, are they going to not certify them anymore? I'm going to say, well, listen, we're not certifying.
Yeah, if they start having a row with each other, are they going to start pulling it just for the hell of it?
Exactly. And then where does it leave people that spent all this money?
Well, it doesn't matter because people are still using the illegal paddles anyway.
Yeah, they are, but they won't be able to do that in tournaments.
No, that's true. That's true.
So just talking very briefly on paddles, I've also just recently acquired the carbon True Foam paddle.
Have you used that?
Yes, I have used it, but not as much as I'd like to. It's really nice.
Instant feelings?
I've added some lead tape to it at the bottom because the first time I used it, I just didn't find that it had everything.
When you say at the bottom?
Yeah, to give it...
just above the neck?
Just above... Yeah, just where it curves up.
Okay.
So on both sides. So hopefully it gives it more power. And I did try a few serves and stuff with it today, and it has given more power.
But it's a power paddle.
It isn't a power paddle.
Oh, it isn't?
Yeah, people think it is because it's a foam core.
Yeah.
But it's actually not a power paddle. It's it does have power, but it's more of a paddle that you feel the ball on the surface. So you get more dwell time, so you can shape the ball better with this paddle. I think it takes a bit of a learning curve, but I think it's going to be an amazing paddle for people. And I know a few people that are using this paddle already, and they're getting amazing spin on this with this paddle. So I will give it another good go in rec play after my singles tournament.
Have you sold it yet?
No, it'll be in my bag. Okay. I actually think I quite like it more than the Yola one, which is interesting. So, yeah, well, I'll give you more reviews on that at a later date.
Are you? I mean, obviously, you're buying paddles every week. Yeah. I still feel like there's an undercurrent of people, the paddle companies waiting. There doesn't seem to be that much coming out.
Well, there is, but there's loads coming out from companies you've not heard of.
But are they just regurgitating the same paddles that are out there? That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think,
the next big step in
I think
paddles.
More companies now are bringing out the all foam paddle. Now, it's not the foam that we had in the Vice where it was like that.
Yes, where it was illegal.
What do they call that foam? I can't think of the name. It's gone out of my head. This is more like it's like sort of a thin.
EV.
Yeah, that was the EV foam. Yeah, it's not that. It's like a softer. It's a different kind of foam. I can't remember the name of it, but it doesn't give you that massive power.
Right.
So it's a bit of a learning curve with the paddle, but I feel like the ball sits longer on the paddle, giving you that, as I said, that more dwell time to be able to have more control on your shots.
Yeah.
But it has the power when you need it. So I've seen a few companies now bringing out these. So I think this is the next gen of paddles.
Okay. This
foam core. And I think the True Foam is the leader in this at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what other paddles are coming out. Yeah. And we'll hopefully get hold of some and do some more reviews on them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Anything else you want?
No, I'm just excited for playing.
I'm excited for you for the singles.
I wish you were coming to watch.
I know. Had I not just been away,
yeah, I understand.
I would have come. I mean,
my real friends are coming.
Good.
They're not really. They're not really. Just one more thing. Well, a couple of things. We are sponsored by the UK Pickleball Shop, and we have a massive giveaway coming up. You've got till the end of May to get in on this competition.
Yes, it's sort of gone by the wayside.
Yeah, I'm going to do another post for it, but just check our socials. You have to do a few things to get involved in this competition, but we've got so much stuff.
It's dead easy. It's just, share it, tag it.
Like it. Yeah. You're getting 2 paddles, a pair of trainers that I can't use because it kills my feet.
They've never been worn.
No, they're brand new. They're brand new. There's balls, there's hats, there's a hoodie. There's loads of stuff.
Yeah.
So have a look at that. And thanks to the UK Pickleball chip shop, the chip shop of the UK Pickleball
and
shop.
Everybody, if you're at the singles this weekend, come and cheer Robert on. And
come and say hi.
Tell him how much you love the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Lie if you have to. Just make him feel better.
And thanks, guys, for listening.
Yeah, really
because without you, we couldn't do this. So thank you very much. And any comments, don't bother sending them in. Send us your comments and we'll try and reply to you.
And if you're playing in the singles, good luck.
Yeah, good luck to everybody playing. Take care.